Welcome back. This morning we're going to take an up-close look at pancreatic cancer. This is hard to sugarcoat in any way. This is the only cancer that has not improved its survival rate in the last 40 years. The mortality rate is staggering, higher than any other cancer. Last year, more than 53,000 people were diagnosed. More than 42,000 have already died. And yet pancreatic cancer gets only 2% of federal cancer research funding. There is no test for it. There's no cure for it. This woman, Suzanne Wright, is the most public example. The co-founder of Autism Speaks, a life force, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a year ago. She died in August. Now her husband, former TV executive Bob Wright, has formed a foundation in her memory and honor to shine a bright light on this disease and try to change things. Our guest this morning, Bob Wright, and his sidekick in this cause, Liz Feld, former executive director of Autism Speaks. To both of you, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having us.
So you changed the world of autism, both of you did, you especially, and Suzanne, and now you're trying to change our reality of pancreatic cancer. Tell me how you're doing, first of all. You know, you're a widower since only August, and this is December. It's not a long time, and yet you are shot from a cannon doing this.
Well, it's very difficult to. We were together 50 years, and we were together in the last 8 or 10 every day, all the time. So we complemented each other very well, and we could spend an enormous amount of time together, and it was never a bad day. So what I did here is, I look at this is a 13-month investigative on pancreatic cancer. Suzanne got diagnosed in October of 15, and 9 months later she died, and in July 29th, and the same. And now 4 months have passed, and I've had opportunity all during that course to remember everything that took place. We had thousands of dollars worth of nursing and drugs and all kinds of things in different hospitals. The best people and the best scientists that were available and are available today, all on the case. And we ended up with total failure. And it's just hard to me to believe as the time went on that we were failing as badly as we were failing. And I felt very personal about this. I let her down, and I had to get with me. Why is this situation? This is a black mark on the history of the National Cancer Institute. It's a black mark on the history of the NIH and HHS, which is the organization that's supposed to be managing these activities. Those activities are $35 billion a year, and NCI is $5.5 billion. So just on cancer. And so I came back, and what I really saw is that we don't have leadership, we don't have prioritization, and there was no sense of urgency on pancreatic cancer, where 5 people die every hour, 117 a day, 3,500 a month like clockwork. And this has been going on for a long, long time. And there's no early detection. You cannot tell that you have this. There's no early. Everything is accidental. The pancreas is not obvious. It's behind organs, your stomach and other organs, and there's no need to see it or investigate it until something happens nearby. And so 80% of the people, when they're diagnosed, they're in stage 4, 3 or 4, just metastasize. So now you don't have any options for surgery. So you're just, the life sentence is, there you go. And how long are you going to live? Well, you're going to be between 5 and 12 months. That's kind of it. And that's what happens. She lived 9, but we thought she had another year. And everything just sort of deteriorated at the end. And I couldn't understand how there's been no, you have to have everything. When you prioritize something in the NIH or the NCI, the first thing you're going to look at is mortality. The things that have the highest mortality are the ones that you're going to be prioritizing versus the ones with the lowest mortality. And this doesn't happen. They don't do that. They don't do it with urgency. It should be a 7-day-a-week, multiple units put together, not just single grants. There's all kinds of things. In my book that I wrote about the Wright stuff, ironically, I talk about the same sort of thing in business all the time. And it happens in business. It happens here at ABC. When you have a situation, and I'll tell you who is pretty good at it, was Iger. Mm-hmm. When you have a situation... He still is pretty good. Well, I mean, he doesn't have one of these situations now. No. When there is a situation, you have to pull people together. And you have to say, okay, we have a bit of an emergency here. We need to figure this out in 2 months or 1 month or 30 days. And Bill, you have to take responsibility for this, and you have to take responsibility for this, Karen, Mary Jo, and we have to meet every day or every 2 days or every 5 days. We have to get this done. I don't care what it takes. You drop what you're doing and do it.
Liz Feld, you have responsibility. You were under his tutelage before, and when he said do this, you had to do it. Now you're doing it again. Where do you begin? Well,
because Bob means business, and his point about business leadership is exactly right. We're going to take all the lessons that we've learned between business and autism and apply them to this, which is, mobilizing an army of families who've been personally affected by this. Over 1 million people have died since 1996. There are millions of people who are related to that million who are behind us who want to see some action. And we know the advocacy game, we've been at it, and the awareness game, which is really the most important thing here. I mean, people know that pancreatic cancer is bad, and you'll often get that, oh, no, the sigh or the whisper around it, but most people don't know all the statistics that you just cited. The highest mortality rate, no improvement in survival rate. It's shocking, and it's scary.
So you got to make them aware of that first of all.
Make them aware of it through digital media, through interviews like this.
And then get scientists to start researching it, have the government fund it, like Bob just said.
It's to
well, really they do it already. They're doing it, but the question is, it's not working. So sometimes it's not a matter of how much money you have. Often it isn't. How well are you using the money you have? Now, they make their own determinations inside of the NCI with $5.5 billion where the money's going to go every year. Mm-hmm. They can change that if they want to. They seem to be completely reluctant to do that. But that's the problem, and we have to figure out, we have to put pressure on them that it's so much that they have to do something that is so obvious to fix. That's